Today on Let's Talk About It, we will discuss gender confusion. And then later, we will have Ky Flack join us to share a powerful testimony. When was the last time that you lingered in the presence of God, just you and Him? Now, I'm not talking about in a Sunday church service with other like-minded believers, although that's absolutely needed. I'm not talking about when the music is playing and the worship music is on, and I'm not talking about when the pastor's preaching. I'm just talking about you and God. When it's not someone praying over you, when you no longer are waiting for someone else to stir something within you, when you just kneel at the feet of Jesus and nothing else matters but connecting to Him. Do you long for that fresh encounter with Him, to meet Him right where you are in the mess of it all? Let me tell you, He so desires to meet with you. Have you had enough to spare, enough pain? Well, guess what? You don't have to wait until a Sunday to reach out to God because He's already waiting. There is mercy and grace and healing right here, right now, today. Don't get me wrong, church is important in our walk with Christ. Bible studies and connecting with other believers is so very beneficial. But we must also have a personal, one-on-one time with Him, where we quiet that noise around us and simply move into the Holy of Holies. It's a time we invite God into our everyday, where we just simply sit at His feet. And as you do, I promise you, you will see Him respond in amazing ways. He will speak and He will move in and through you in incredible ways. It's this personal one-on-one with Him that will grow your walk with Him, will build the trust with Him. And it's this personal time that will become the most precious gift that you can give yourself. James 4:8 says, "Come near to God, and He will come near to you." So friends, let's meet with Him on a personal level like never before. It's in this place, I believe, we will see things very differently. And because of this, we will walk out each day so very differently. So Lord, help me to recognize how important this time with you is. And we are just three ladies, all with big opinions, always backed by a biblical standpoint. So let's talk about it.
This segment is brought to you by Harry's Construction, whose motto is, "If you can dream it, we can create it." They are the kitchen and bath design experts, so call Harry's Construction for all your remodeling needs.
When it's time for a new roof, Champion Roofing is your best choice. We're a certified award-winning roofing contractor, meaning your roof is done right the first time. Call today.
Champion Roofing, we're the solution.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It, and we're going to dive into a question that is really something that needs discussed.
Yes, it is. By the church.
Yeah.
It needs to be discussed by the church.
Yeah. And it's not easy,
No.
but we're going to talk about gender confusion or gender dysphoria as it's more widely known today. And, you know, as I was researching some things, I don't know if you're aware, but there are 72 genders as of this year.
What?
Yes, 72 different genders.
No, I did not know that.
Yes.
Okay.
And as I went through the list and what each meant, my mind couldn't even really take it all in and conceive what they...
72.
Yes. 72 different genders.
How do they...
Yeah, I didn't research how they...
Okay, yeah,
but there are
that's okay.
72
That's a whole other
genders.
subject.
Of
That's a whole nother-
2024, there are 72 genders.
Okay.
And they each mean something very specific as they went through them.
Okay.
You know, so...
Okay.
It's a lot. That's a lot to put on young children today.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like truth is distorted in this country Well, probably in the world in general. I feel like,
I think of the world.
I think in
Yeah.
general, I shouldn't say this. I feel like they're trying to tell you that your truth is how you see it. That is not the truth.
Yeah. But that's also not new.
No.
That's not new.
But you add freedom, like okay, even when my kids who are now adults and they're young adults were in school, you couldn't go to school with your hair different colors.
Right.
You couldn't do anything to yourself that attracted
Right.
negative attention. When my kids, who are not that old, so it wasn't that long ago. But now, like, we have this thing where you can just be whatever you want to be. If that's
To the
your truth,
extreme.
to the extreme, and it is attention all around it. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
Have you heard of furries? So that's like one of the things right now that's a big thing,
Yeah.
to
Yep.
have litter boxes in the schools.
Yep.
Yeah, like, and where does the madness stop?
Right.
Where does it stop?
Right.
Well, as I was looking at it and thinking about it and looking up stuff, I several times went back to what Jesus said when he was questioned by the man who said, "What's the most important? What's most important?" And he said, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself." And I do think as the church, we pick and choose who we love or how we love them, what that looks like. We do. And we are not called to judge the world. We are given permission to judge each other
Christians.
in love, as Christians,
Yes.
but not the world.
I agree with that, but I also don't think that it's wrong to look at something blatantly wrong and try to make it be okay. Like,
No, absolutely
definitely not okay.
No,
Definitely.
absolutely not.
litter boxes in the bathroom
Yeah.
for human beings, not
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, like some of the things that are happening today really concern me, like bathrooms where we're going to let a man
Yeah.
go into a woman's bathroom. That concerns me.
Yes. Yeah.
But if we believe that, then other people think we're intolerant.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen,
Yep.
I'm probably one of the most accepting, loving people, seriously. But my word, there's just some things that are just not
Yeah. And how do
appropriate.
we protect our children?
Yes.
Right.
How do we do that? What does that actually look like?
Right. Yes.
Protecting our children, because we can't isolate them from everything.
No, you got to build into them what is happening, teach them, and show them the right way to respond.
How do you? Parents have a hard enough time talking about sex with kids.
Yeah.
Now you're going to talk about, Susie wants to be a cat, so we're going to treat her like a cat. That seems insane to me.
Yeah.
And you're a cat today, but tomorrow you might be something else. You
Right.
can be whatever you wake up and
And
put
as a
right.
teacher,
Yes.
the
Yes.
roles, I had my teaching degree and I just don't even know if I could be in a school district right now where you're going to tell me I have to call them
Right.
certain things
Right.
when I know that they're not.
Right.
That would be very difficult for me.
Right.
But one of the best statistics I looked up, because we hear about parents who are like feeding into
Yes. Absolutely.
what they want, what
Yes.
their children are saying.
Yes.
70% of children outgrow these things and it resolves itself.
Yep.
70%.
If it's not fed
Right.
by the parents.
If it's not fed and built to be okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
There are things that Parker does that sometimes I'm like, he will like to play a game that's considered a girl game or play with a baby doll or
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not pushing against that
Right.
because who made it girl boy?
Right. Right.
If it comes to a point where I have to have a discussion with him, I will.
Yeah.
But 70% of all this
Yep.
kind of stuff that they grow out of it. So
That's
let's let
right.
them grow out of that. They're just trying to define
They're
who.
just kids.
Yeah, and
they're
they're
just
just
kids.
exploring and just seeing.
And
Okay,
nurturing is, I mean, if in church, would your husband hold a baby and, love it? They're just modeling what they see.
right,
And kids do model what they see from us.
right.
They do.
Love and hate.
Yes.
Yes.
That's right.
And this whole, okay, so I used
Yeah.
to go to a store, and the guys that worked in the store, I'm telling you, they mutilated their bodies. Like, I could hardly stand to look at them because they had gauges that were touching their shoulders. Their earlobes were down to here. They had stuff everywhere.
Yep.
But they were the sweetest guys. When I would go in that store, they were so
Yep.
sweet.
Yep.
And one day I walk in, all of that stuff is gone. And I'm like,
Really?
and I just inquired because I go in there all the time, and they said, "Yeah, we got to thinking about it, and we just felt like that was a thing when we were younger, and now we're
right.
we
right.
don't even want to do that anymore.
And
Like
see,
so
it
dumb,
just
you
show-
know."
Like,
Yes.
give them time to grow.
Now they have to
Yes.
have plastic surgery and get their ears
yeah.
back
Yeah.
up to where they
Yeah.
belong, and
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I was just thinking to myself, well, praise God. You know, we do mature, we do grow.
Yeah.
We're not the same.
We all do.
Yeah, because look at some of
Yeah.
the things that we did.
Oh my goodness.
Come on. So we've got to give
Yeah.
grace in those
Yeah.
situations. Another big thing that I read about is now they are assigning a U on birth certificates, meaning unknown, because they don't want to assign
The
their
parents don't
yes,
want
the
to
parents
assign.
don't want to assign
Yeah.
a gender, so they put U for unknown. And I thought that is so crazy.
Gosh.
I mean, Genesis 1:27 says, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created male and female.
Yep.
He created them."
Yep.
So we don't get to decide
Right.
what gender we are.
Right.
The Creator decided
Right.
what gender we are.
Right.
And we need to bring it back.
That
to
was one of the verses I had too. And it, yeah, what, how, I'm sorry, let me see if I can make a complete sentence. None of this is new.
Right.
None of it is. Sin is as old as Adam and Eve. Repentance is the most important thing that we can do. But I will say this, you cannot win an argument on Facebook.
Oh,
You
for
cannot.
sure.
win it.
Absolutely.
And as Christians, as a
Absolutely.
Christian, I am frequently embarrassed by my Christian friends who argue or post things that are arguable on Facebook. If I have not earned the right to talk to someone, and how do you earn the right to talk to someone? You have a relationship with
Right.
them.
right.
And if I have beat them over the head with my Bible, they are not going to listen to me. If I have loved them like Jesus does, yes, they will listen to me. Not right away. It takes time.
Right.
It takes time.
Right.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I just quickly wanted to bring up too is the sports issues that we're
Yes.
having, where we are bringing men into women's sports.
Yep.
And how that, I mean, there's a lot
There
going
is.
on that we need to know where we stand,
Yeah.
speak life into our kids' lives about it,
Yes.
so that they understand.
Yeah.
Actually, my son has a friend who I hope I get this right, the friend's sister thinks she's a boy,
Okay.
and we have to call them something different.
Okay.
And so I explained to him, like, well, I'm not going to call them something different. I will just try to just skip over it.
Right.
Is the best
Right.
way that I can do, and just show him, like, this is not what God created.
Yeah.
And that's hard, but it's happening more and more
That's right.
Yep.
because it's getting shoved. I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
Sin has always
Yep.
been around, but it's just
Yep.
thrown out there more in our
And
face.
it's probably just, it gets more and more bizarre, but
Yep. Yeah. And I just want to finish with this little story that I read that I thought was really key to this. A mom was talking to her daughter and about the gender thing. And she said, "Evie, doesn't that sound like a lot of pressure to constantly define who you are? Wouldn't it be better to receive who you are from God? We sing a song at church, 'I am who you say I am.' Which is a better way to live? I am who you say I am, or I am who I am deciding I am today? To be who God made me sounds way better," she replied. And she was right. You are not who other people say you are. You are not your past or your struggles. But you also don't have to live with the pressure of figuring out who you are, because you are not self-made. You have been made by God, and He is the one who created you and gives you joy.
Yep.
And I thought that was a powerful.
Very powerful.
So we know what's going on. We know these are hard topics and issues, but we have to face them, talk with them about them with our children, and, live in the truth of what God created. And when we come back, we will have our guest for the day.
Next time on Man Up, we're going to have my friend Tyrell Barnes and talk about evangelism.
I guess narrow it down pretty much, I was just a self-righteous idolater. I believed in God, but I was my own God in my head. My God believed everything I believed and didn't believe everything I didn't believe, and it was essentially me, a God I was comfortable with, cozying up to, God with no sense of truth, justice, righteous, none of that. My wife, she was into witchcraft. I didn't really think anything of it.
All that and more next time on Man Up.
Impact Productions, a multi-layer technology company providing on-site, online, and in-studio video services. Contact Impact Productions to capture your story.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. And today we have a special guest with us that's going to share, I think, a powerful testimony with you guys. So could you introduce yourself first?
I'm Ky Flack. I'm married to my husband, CJ. We have a beautiful daughter, Amaya, and we just moved here from Philly like 3 months ago.
Awesome.
And
Your name is Kyrisha?
Yes, but I go by Ky.
Beautiful. Oh, you should go by Kyrisha.
Thank you.
I love that.
My
But
mom
Ky
would be
suits
happy.
you. Ky suits you also.
Thank you.
Yeah, your mom did a great job.
Thank you.
Her little girl is adorable.
Thank
How old
you.
is she?
She's 7 months.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's a peanut.
Yes. She just moved into 3 to 6 month clothing. So
Oh, did she?
yeah,
Oh, she is
she's so tiny.
So you moved here from Philadelphia, and
Yes.
I'm sure you have a story to tell. So let us know, first of all, how maybe some things turned the wrong way for you. What were some things that happened in your life that you didn't really necessarily want, but it was just...
Oh man, I have to go back. Let's see. Well, I mean, first and foremost, starting my parents, their marriage was pretty rocky. And so a great deal of my childhood, teenage years were basically spent being in between them and, what's going on with them. And then we were moving a lot because my dad was in the Air Force.
Oh, okay.
So it was just, change after change after change, and it was like rapid. So the funny thing is, it wasn't until COVID, when everyone's home quarantined, that I actually stopped and processed, oh wait, my parents got divorced. Oh wait, this happened, that happened. And it was just, it was difficult.
And so with those things, what did that do to, per se, your mindset and the choices that you made?
So I had a lot of pressure on me being the oldest, the daughter, do well, get good grades, make sure you're doing your chores, help your brothers, all of that. While, my mom, she's pretty sick. She has 3 different types of seizures. She has POTS syndrome. She has type 1 diabetes. So she was in and out of the hospital a lot, and my dad was working a lot. So
That's a lot of
it was a
responsibility.
lot of pressure on me.
Yeah.
And so I strived to do the right thing, but it wasn't until high school that I just forget it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it anymore. I mean, I was really stressed out as a child and a teenager with just everything going on. And the crazy thing is, I would hear, kids don't get stressed. All you need to do is bring home good grades and do your chores and listen to what I'm telling you to do. And it's like, wait a minute, but that is stress because you're putting all of this pressure.
Well, and people always say, oh, kids are resilient. They bounce back.
Yeah.
No, we have to acknowledge what happens, the trauma that
Exactly.
happens to kids.
Exactly, which is why I work with children now and I work with teenagers now. I believe that God put that calling on my life and on my husband's life because of that. And so I use those experiences and I try to be understanding and, take that posture of listening and, why did this child do what they did? Why is this child feeling or reacting the way that they are? Because you never really know exactly what it is that's driving them to do that. We don't know everything. We don't know what's going on in their mind.
Yeah.
You know, we just expect them to, you know, get good grades, listen to me, and, you know, stay out of the way.
Exactly.
So-
We just, in my Bible study group, did a book called Untangle Your Emotions. And it was big about that we do have emotions.
That's right.
And we
Yes.
need to be able to share them.
right.
And we don't have to sin in them, but we do have emotions.
Yes.
And I think with kids, sometimes we've been like, well, I've seen myself do it. Don't cry. Stop crying.
Yes.
You'll be
Yes.
fine. And it's
Straighten
like,
up your attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Who
wait a
says
minute.
that?
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
to an
it's hard.
adult, we
Well,
can do that.
Yeah, it's funny because you see, you know, sometimes adults, they react that you know, big emotions, they react, you know, in certain ways, and you're like, okay, but you tell your child, hey, fix your face.
That's
Hey,
right, exactly.
Who's telling the adult that?
Yes.
I'm going to say this. Growing up as the oldest in a military family, that is what life is like.
Yeah.
Ask my son Cody.
Yeah.
That is what life was like for Cody. Life was not like that for Justin, the youngest in the family,
Yeah.
at all. But we look, not to throw John under the bus, but he was a product of his environment too.
Exactly.
And you know, the Marine Corps way, like you will come to this event and you will have fun. Like it dictated everything.
Yeah.
And then that mentality gets dictated into you and into my son
It does.
Cody.
Yeah.
And Cody wasn't allowed to mess up.
Yeah.
And what does that do to you as a child, teenager, moving into adulthood?
There were a lot of strings that needed to be followed to figure out where, you know, where it started. And
That's a good word picture.
It is.
yeah.
That's a good word picture.
Because they were all tangled and they were all, you know, a mess. And so I had to do a lot of introspection and, you know, going to the altar, Lord, please remove this from me, remove that from me. It wasn't until actually I began dating my husband that I realized that I had all these triggers and I didn't understand why.
Wow.
And so I had to work through that. And it was a hard road, but by the grace of God, like I'm seeing that, like, oh, I'm recognizing, oh, I respond this way because I think this way because, and then just taking that into prayer and allowing the Lord to do what he does best and transform.
I love that because it is a process. And sometimes I tell the ladies group, these are things that happen to you over and over in your lifetime. So now it's going to be a process and a
Yes.
journey,
Right.
and it's not going
Yes.
to just fix itself in a day.
No.
Yeah.
And there are triggers that are going to keep coming
That's right.
forward.
And
That
frequently it's a lifelong process.
Right.
And that's okay. Because the great physician is
Yes.
always in the process of healing us and making us who we are.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I've seen that time and time again. I mean, my relationship with my father didn't get great and where it's at now until I want to say right before I got married. And it was difficult for me because I always viewed him in a certain lens because of the hurt, because of the trauma. So I was looking at him through that. And I would, you know, pray and, you know, Lord, take this hurt from me. But I kept getting back to that same brick wall. And I was like, I am so tired. I'm, you know, frustrated in my prayer. I'm so tired of like being hurt by things and why, Lord? And finally, the Lord did something amazing. One time I was praying and he showed me every single home that I was at or everywhere I laid my head where I was in hurt. And he said, just as I've moved you out of these places, I am moving you out of this situation. Wow. You need to trust me. And that was a transformative moment for me because after that, then I was able to look at my father the way that God sees him. And he moved in our relationship. And now we talk almost every single day. There's no resentment. I don't, you know, we've had that hard conversation of like, hey, Dad, you know, sometimes I feel like the punishment didn't fit the crime. Like, you know, you would get so angry over something to me that was a little bit small. I can understand where you were upset at. But, you know, how you punished me, how, you know, what you did, how you responded. It really bothered me. And we had that tough conversation. And after we worked through those things, the Lord, he came in, he transformed our relationship, and now we're in such a better place.
But it's like you said with the tangled mess.
Oh, my
Sometimes
goodness.
when you pull a string the knot gets tighter.
Yeah.
It doesn't always just you pull the right string and it all unravels. Sometimes the knot gets tighter.
Yeah.
And you have to pick another end.
To start working.
Yeah, you have to work at it from a different angle.
And that's where I was at, because when I had first gotten saved, I was 18 years old and I was at my high school. And my friend had started this Bible club after school, and that's where I gave my heart to Christ. I was like, I got to get my dad saved. Like, it was immediate.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm like talking to him, and he's like, arguing with me and, not really interested. And I was getting frustrated because I'm like, he needs Jesus, like, but I'm newly saved. So of course I'm going on 100. It's like, no. So I had to go at a different angle. And so what that looked like was stepping back for a little bit and not, pushing. And through that, the Lord was working on that end with my father. So then we reconnected. And
I think it's just a beautiful picture how you described it. I mean, it really is a beautiful thing to see that you were able to work through the process of what needed to be, that you were raw and open, because that's the hard part.
Yes.
But you were willing to do that so that you could build that relationship back to where it needed to be. And that's a special thing.
Yes.
And I want you to know that, because it really is good to see families reconnected. So thank you so much for coming and sharing. And I truly believe that your story is going to help others just navigate the hard stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you so much.
Of course.
When we come back, we will have our tip for the day.
When it's time for a new roof, Champion Roofing is your best choice. We're a certified award-winning roofing contractor, meaning your roof is done right the first time. Call today.
Champion Roofing, we're the solution.
Next time on Let's Talk About It, we will discuss baptism and dedication. And then we will have Nicole Rickaball join us on the show.
I ended up taking a couple pictures that I loved, and then I had one of a house I took as my husband was driving. And I was like, oh, I think that would be really cool. So I played around and had that as the cover for one of them, and then I just designed with different elements on Canva a different cover, and I was like, oh.
All this and more next time on Let's Talk About It.
So I don't know about you, but I'm not great with dating my husband. We do lots of family things for sure, but actually spending that one-on-one time, not so much, except for maybe at home. So the other day, this list comes up on Facebook, and I thought it had some really fun, great ideas that I wanted to share with you, our viewers. So here's a few. Draw or paint a portrait of each other. I seriously love this idea and think it would be so very hilarious. And it's cheap. How about take a cooking class together? I actually think this sounds kind of fun too. Take a walk together. Go get coffee together at a local coffee shop. Go see a play at your local theater. Plan a picnic. Go shopping at a thrift store. This one could be very interesting because maybe you could pick out an outfit for each other then to wear. Play laser tag. Sign up for a dance class. Plan a couple spa day. Now these are just a few things that we could try, and some don't cost much or take much planning, but the purpose is to be intentional about it. Make time for your spouse. Connect one-on-one. And if you have a fun idea we can try, let us know. And until next time, let's talk about it.